Good afternoon. Welcome to the March 28, 2024 Seminole County Code Enforcement Board meeting. Thank you all for being here. We're going to go ahead and get started. If we can start with Madam Clerk doing a roll call of the members, please.
Beverly Bates,
Here.
Jane Haynes, Craig Davis,
Here.
Don Peterson, he's excused. Kevin Andrew Ross, he also is excused. Catherine Townsend. Here. And Dennis Warren.
Here, and Mike Simon.
Mike Simon.
Present. And I don't believe Jane is on the board anymore.
Correct. Sorry about that.
So we have a quorum, sir.
We do have a quorum, thank you. So we're going to go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the swearing in of witnesses. If you are here to testify in any behalf today, please remain standing after the Pledge of Allegiance for your swearing in. Thank you. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, please remain standing. Raise your right hand so the clerk can swear you in if you're going to testify.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth? Thank you.
Thank you. I would suggest or look for a motion to revise our agenda in order to take those that are present first, and then we would follow by the folks that are not present for their cases to be heard after that.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. So we have a motion by Mr. Simon, second by Ms. Townsend, to revise the agenda. So we would take case number 1, followed by case number 2, followed by case number 3, followed by case number 4, moving to case number 7, case number 8, 9, and 10, 11, and 12, and then the remaining cases would be heard. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that's how we'll get started. Folks, again, thanks for coming today. When you hear your case called, you're going to be asked to come up and have a seat at this table. The code enforcement officer is going to present the case. You'll have an opportunity to speak, and then the board will be making a decision on how to handle your case today, and they may have some questions for you. So with that being said, we'll start with what is numbered as case number 1. It's on page 1 of page 8. Case number 24-05 CEB, Above All Modular, Inc., Mark W. Rice, registered agent. Address is 4374 North County Road 426, Geneva. Sir, if you could go ahead and have a seat and identify yourself by name.
I am Mark Rice.
Thank you. And this case will be presented by Officer Hill.
Having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, take your time. Mr. Rice, I see you're the registered agent. You also the property owner?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good
afternoon, Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. I am submitting a copy of this PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2405 CEB. Above All Modular Inc., Mark W. Rice, Jr., Registered Agent, located at 4374 North County Road 426 in Geneva. Violation charge is Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 6, Section 3102, uses permitted. An extension of a business is not a permitted use or use allowed by special exception in an A1 zoning district. My initial inspection was on August 1st, 2023, with notice to respondents on February 7th and April 13th, 2023, with compliance dates of March 15th and May 14th of 2023, with multiple follow-up inspections including yesterday. The violation of an extension of a business no longer remains on the property. This photo was taken on my initial inspection on August 1st, 2023. This photo was taken on August 17th, 2023. This photo was taken on August 23rd, 2023. This photo was taken on September 15th, 2023. This photo was taken on September 29th, 2023. This photo is actually the place of his business, which is on 46 and 426. It's actually, like, you can see his business diagonal. In the next slide, you can see exactly, I pulled from Property Appraiser, the location. So this was taken from Seminole County Property Appraiser, a website. Where the blue arrow is where the modulars come and go. Where the red arrow is the location of business. This photo was taken on October 30th, 2023. He came into compliance. This photo was on December 6th, 2023. He was out of compliance again. This photo was taken on December 13th, 2023 in compliance. This photo was taken January 5th, 2024 out of compliance. This photo was taken on January 24th, 2024 in compliance. And my inspection yesterday, still in compliance. The suggested recommendation, based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2405 CEB, is determined that the respondent, Above All Modular Inc., is the owner of record located at 4374 North County Road 426 in Seminole County, in possession or control of the property, and was in violation of Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 6, Section 30.102, uses permitted. It's further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to refrain from repeating the violation on or before midnight of March 28th, 2024, or a fine of $100 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated. This is not the first time I've had a case open, so that is the reason why I brought it before the board, to get an order, so if he comes out of compliance again, the fine will start running. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Hill?
Can you explain specifically what the violation is here? He's not allowed to have these modulars? Is that?
Correct. It's an extension of a business. He does not live at the property, so you can operate a home-based business from your property, but he does not live here, so that does not pertain to him. He's got a business catty corner from this property.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that business is on a separate address than where this is?
Correct.
Any other questions for Officer Hill? Seeing none, Mr. Rice, this is your opportunity to speak to that. Apparently you're in compliance now. We're here to determine if there was a violation and deal with it moving forward should we have to. Hopefully they're not, but you're welcome to.
Well, the problem is, to begin with, I used to run my business out of there and live there. I own the property behind it also. I own both of them. And I was told I could not run a business out of there because it was not commercial property. So now, owning the property that I own outright, I have to rent the property across the street. Now, it makes no sense to me. So here's the property that she's violating me on. Straight across the street, for some reason, is allowed to be commercial. So instead of being able to run my own company out of a business where I provide employment for people in our town and everything else, they forced me to move across the street and pay $5,000 a month for rent now, which I could provide better income for my employees if I wasn't charged for rent if I could run my company out of here. But on the other hand, those trailers actually belong to me personally. They're not owned by my company. And I don't see what's the difference of having an RV parked in my front property or a gooseneck trailer. It's on wheels. It has a hitch. It's mobile. It is not permanently put there. So I'm confused why that trailer cannot be there if it's not in my company's name and it's mine personally. Confused.
Would you like to address that, officer?
So in 2019, there was an open case where these modulars did belong to him, and in the past, we have spoken, I think it was around right after COVID, and the reason why he explained that the modulars were sitting there is because a business deal had fell through, the new owners did not pick them up, and so he was just temporarily storing them before bringing them to his place of business.
That did happen, but the other ones have been mine. No one's questioning me if they were my company's or mine.
Right.
These have been mine personally. Just because I own the company, don't mean that I don't buy these out of my personal money and they're mine personally.
It would still be considered an unpermitted use because he's storing them there. They're not permitted, they're not attached to the ground, they're just being stored there.
So what's the difference of having an RV trailer stored there or a gooseneck trailer stored there that's not tied down? Can you explain the difference between an RV trailer or the trailers that I have? Because I was told they have to be on tires and have to have a hitch and be mobile, which they are.
So you would need to get a permit from the building department to allow them to stay there if you're gonna have them there than more than 6 months.
They're never there more than 6 months. Go back to your photos. You ever found one there longer than 6 months?
No.
Thank you. So that's what I'm confused on.
You're welcome.
And everybody, and I don't understand because here's the big thing. Y'all had someone call in on me for running my company on the backside on my back mobile home years ago when I first started this. I've been there 22 years. I've worked out of Geneva. I've owned that property 22 years, and nobody could ever see what was going on. And somebody called in one day and made a big stink of it and now forced me to be across the street. Now you see what it looks like across the street. You can see everything. And somebody's upset over this, so they keep calling in on me for some reason, and I don't understand why they're calling in on me because it's frustrating. But back to the main problem here. It's on wheels and tires and it has a hitch and it's in my personal name. You should not be able to violate me.
So you're correct. Back in 2019, there was a complaint that came in. You are correct about that. So when we do get a complaint, we have to do an inspection. Then there was another complaint back in 2021, I believe, and that's when we had spoke. It was right after COVID.
Yeah, that's what I said. but I
Correct.
didn't-
Let me finish. Then after that, because that is a road that I frequent quite often for other violations in the main road through Geneva, I did observe it this final time in 2023, but then I also got a complaint as well. And I had told the complainant I had already had an open case and had filed it for a hearing.
But again, you said it's got to be there longer than 6 months, and there ain't been a trailer one there longer than 6 months. So I feel this is violation of my rights, of my own property, being here today.
Do you have any tags or any proof that those do not belong to your company?
There's nothing that puts them in my company's name. I'll have a piece of paper that when someone sells it to me, that it's personally in my name, but there is no title to any of them, titled to my company at all. None.
So the property is owned by Above All Modular Inc., correct?
The front property is owned by Above All. The back property is owned by me.
Okay. So the business cannot be operated from there because you do not live
I'm not
there.
operating a business over there. I'm operating a business across the street. I'm storing my personal property on Above All Modulars.
So all those modulars that keep coming and
They're
going,
mine.
they're all your personal property. You are not selling them to
No.
anybody.
They're mine. And I end up bringing them back and scrapping them for personal use.
Okay, because yeah, I believe that the first case that was open in 2019 was actually a case for a rubble of a structure because the windows were out of it.
Do you know if any modular such as that is titled?
I do not know if they're titled. No, I don't
Can you
enter
tell me?
I don't enter the property.
There's certain ones that are titled, most of them aren't because they're commercial trailers. So they don't have a tag or title, they're commercial, they're not residential.
So they're
So
commercial.
residential has a title to them. The commercial ones, we actually have to use a transporter tag to locate them from spot to spot.
Ms. Hill, can you explain to me if this were a personal trailer of his, would it be legal for him would it be legal for him to store it for 6 months in the manner that it's stored in these photos?
Because these are commercial modulars, like he said, these are not residential modulars.
But it's still a trailer on wheels and axles. If it was set underneath, if blocks were underneath it and the tires and axles were off of it and it wasn't mobile, I could see you coming at me. But this thing is mobile, I can move it at any point, just like an RV or a gooseneck or any type of trailer.
This is commercial, your property's not zoned commercial, your property is zoned agricultural, and that's the issue.
But there's nothing titling that actually commercial, it's just an office trailer.
Right, office trailer would be commercial.
Oh, there's-
This is not a residential, this is a residential,
Right.
it's ag.
What y'all decide what y'all want to do. I'm tired of y'all, I'm being in Geneva trying to run a business, taking care of Seminole County, and all y'all do is keep coming at me. I've been there 22 years, and all I do is get hammered. I've tried turning the property commercial. The county won't let me because they said Bo Yarborough, Miss Yarborough, now she's passed, apologize, would not allow me to turn that commercial because she didn't want commercial to come out that way. I can sit in my office and look at my property, and I beg to turn it commercial, I pay whatever it took, but instead, everybody just keeps hammering me, and I'm just done with it. So whatever y'all decide, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, can you explain to me if this were his personal, even if we're going to call it an office trailer, how long he would be able to store it there without moving it and still be in compliance?
So he wouldn't be able to store so this is a commercial use in an ag zone property. This is not a customary use for ag zone property. This is a customary use for commercial property. These are the types of modulars you see on school grounds, construction sites, that type of thing, not something that is in ag zone property temporarily being stored.
With that being said, I'll actually say something else. You know how many farms and ranches and anywhere that they grow plants that we install these trailers for? That's ag, right? That's agricultural. Farms are. All that is. I set them on all these properties, so you can't just say this is commercial. It's also used for agricultural.
When they get a permit to have them installed.
No, they don't have to get a permit on agricultural property. Sorry, ma'am.
So there's no period of time that he would be allowed to store one of these without a permit?
Correct.
So I can put that building on agricultural property without a permit? Yes, I can. You do not pull a permit on agricultural property for a modular building. I've been in business 22 years.
Mr. Rice, let me ask you a question. I think I heard you say earlier, sometimes they have titles and sometimes they don't.
No, most of the mobile homes have titles.
The stuff that you have on your property or that you've had over the last,
I have not had a title for them, no, sir. I have no titles for any building that's been on that property.
when's the last
Don't
time?
have it.
When's the
What's
last
that,
time she said, so you don't have titles?
I have no titles for any of the buildings that's been on the property, no, sir.
Are they titled?
As far as I know, no. They're just permitted, when I got them, some of them came off farms, some of them came off school grounds, yes. So she classifies them as all commercial, but that's not all commercial. I mean, like she said, I have not had a building sit there over 6 months.
Okay, I'm confused. I thought when you were speaking, you said that all of these were commercial units.
Commercial units, but also used on agricultural property. So you don't call it an agricultural unit, but it's a commercial building, yes.
But you
ma'am.
don't have title to any of them?
I don't have no titles for these, no, ma'am.
You bought them without a title?
Yes, ma'am.
When's the last time you sold one from there?
I haven't sold them. I had to move them because I kept getting letters in the mail, so they're all moved. I haven't sold any of them. So I had to haul them from there to Bushnell
Last
on another
24
piece of
months.
property.
How many have you sold from there?
I don't sell any from there. That's what I'm saying. I moved them.
It's not playing on
But in
words.
2 years, I've sold 2 buildings.
How many have you sold regardless of from where? How many
Oh, I can
units
tell you,
has
I'm
Above
not-
All Modular Inc. sold?
I'm not a selling company. I'm an
I didn't,
install
that's not
company.
my question,
So I
sir.
probably sold 5 units in 2 years.
Am I correct that right now he's in compliance, there's nothing on the property?
Correct.
And am I correct that you understand you cannot put anything on that property?
I'm confused though, why I can't.
Well, that's not my question. Do you
From what she's
understand that
saying
you
right now.
cannot do it?
From what she's saying, yes.
Okay.
But I'm confused on, like he said, why is there not a period of time that I can't put anything on there? Like, you're telling me nothing's been, you said earlier, over 6 months. There's nothing been there over 6 months.
What's the purpose of them being there? Do you just collect these?
No, what happens is sometimes, I'll get it, and I have a yard in Bushnell that I can use. But if I have a job in Jacksonville, and I get a unit like this, say I purchased one, and I want it, and I go up there to Jacksonville and I get it, I can't make it to Bushnell, I'll drop it overnight. And then I'll pick it up the next morning and haul it off. Sometimes it's 2 days,
Answers
but I
my
mainly try to get it out of there. It's not, I don't use it as an actual storage yard. But when you work all over the whole state of Florida,
Now, I get the reason behind it, but.
but she's saying I can't use it at all.
Make
I
that
don't
as a
get it.
pit stop from Jacksonville to Bushnell for 2 days, a lot of people would consider that storage. Short term, but storage.
All right.
I have a question for
I'm
Ms.
done.
Hill. To your knowledge, what's the longest amount of time that one of these has been on the property?
Well, the last one was just in January and it was removed. And that's why I don't ever receive any
So this
communication.
is March. It was there 2 months?
It was there, so,
My point being, they've been there more than, quote, a couple of days.
absolutely.
Okay.
And I don't receive any communication from Mr. Rice, and I just kind of figured he was getting my notices because he came into compliance, but then, and I was about to close out my case, and then we were back out of compliance again. So.
Okay.
Any other questions for either side? Mr. Bates?
Officer Hill, what's the reason that the county says that he can't rezone this property to commercial so that this problem would go away if he uses it for storage temporarily?
I can't answer a rezone question. That's what the county, if you wanted to apply for a rezone, I think he might have tried that in 2019. I'm not sure. He's nodding yes, so I'm guessing that didn't go forward. But this is considered an extension of a business because he's using the property as a pit stop for the modulars before he can get them installed.
And is there not room where your office is across the street to put that for, quote, a couple of days before you move it to wherever you're going?
No, ma'am. Not at all. I barely have enough room for the equipment that I have now.
How do you move those from where they're at to Bushnell or wherever? How do you move those on the highway without a tag on? Do you have a transporter tag you slap on it?
Transporter tag.
Well, anybody ready for a motion?
I'll make the motion. I don't think there's any choice but to make the motion for staff recommendation. I can't see it up there right now, so I can't quote it.
Staff recommendation was a finding of noncompliance, property's in compliance, and so property not come back into noncompliance on or before March 28th. If not, then a $100 a day fine to ensue thereafter for.
That would be my motion, yes.
And that will carry forward as we move past March 28th?
As a legal matter, the finding by the board, if the board finds noncompliance, then the respondent is found in violation, but not in current violation, which means no fine would ensue. If a violation is subsequently found after the board's action, the respondent could be deemed a repeat violator and subject to enhanced fines statutorily that go back to the date of first observation by the officer of any repeat violation. So the relevance of being found in violation is, statutorily to deter one from falling into a repeat status because the fines become more significant statutorily going forward. Wouldn't ensue in a fine in this instance at this time because the property's in compliance at this time, as I understand officer's report.
So the person is in compliance, and the motion that we're making here today is to fine them extra for future non-compliance.
Well, the finding, as recommended by the officer, is that there has been a recurring violation which hasn't been corrected within the time prescribed by the county. And so that would need to be the board's finding to find a violation. I'm sorry, but just as I understand, the county's position is that the property is currently in compliance. It's just that this has been a recurring situation.
And one of the keys here is that if we find it that there was in compliance, but there was a violation, from this point forward, when she rides by and sees it out of compliance, the fines start from that day.
It could. Statutorily, conceptually, that's true.
I'll second the motion.
Motion on the floor to accept staff's recommendation as presented. That's by the 28th of March, compliance date, or $100 a day fine. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
And the motion carries. All right, Mr. Rice, thank you. Appreciate your time coming in and your assistance. Yes, sir. Brings us to case number, by the way, Mr. Jack Morrison.
I apologize. I'm Jack Morrison. I'm partners with Yvette Brown, sitting in for her today. She couldn't be here, so you're stuck with me as I...
My dad, I should have introduced him. I thought you were Yvette. But thank you. So it brings us to number 2, which is still on page 1 of page 8. Case number 2414 CEB, Shannon O. Creamer, 309 Cherokee Circle, Sanford, Florida, 32773.
I believe that's 809.
809, yeah, it sure is. These things aren't working right now. And Ms. Kramer?
I'm Shannon Kramer.
Thank you so much. Okay, Officer Henson.
Code Enforcement Officer Shannon Henson, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, North Region. For the record, I'm submitting a copy of the presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. 2414 CEB, Shannon Kramer, 809 Cherokee Circle, Seminole County, Florida. Violation charge, Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3B, uncultivated vegetation. I first inspected this property August 15, 2022. First notice was sent out September 6, 2022. The second, 11/7/2022, and January 1st, 2023, that was supposed to be. Compliance dates were supposed to be are September 23, 2022, November 23, 2022, January 25th, 2023. Follow-up inspections, I started on September 8th, 2022, December 6th, 2022, 11/4/2022, and the last one was March 27th, 2024. The results of the follow-up inspection, the violation of uncultivated vegetation remains on the property. This picture was taken August 15th, 2022 by myself. And this one was taken September 6, 2022, and 11/4/2022, January 1st, the 3rd, 2023, January 10th, 2023, February 7th, 2023, again, February 7th, 2023, and March 7th, 2023, April 5th, 2023, June 27th, 2023, July 18th, 2023, October 5th, 2023, and February 7th, 2024, March 8th, 2024, when I posted the property. And this one was taken yesterday on the 27th, and it was still out of compliance. The suggested recommendation by the code enforcement officer is based on the testimony and evidence presented in the case number 2414 CEB, it is determined that the respondent, Shannon Kramer, is the owner of the property located at 809 Cherokee Circle, located in Seminole County, as determined by the property appraiser's records, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of the Seminole County Chapter 95, 95.4 as defined in 95.3B. It's further recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to correct the violation on or before April 12, 2024. In order to correct this violation, the respondent must remove all uncultivated vegetation over 8 inches in height. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact myself to arrange an inspection to verify the compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Hanson?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, it's totally my fault. I forgot my glasses. Can you go back to the last photo, the one from yesterday, and just sort of walk me through what the ongoing is there?
I took a picture of the front to show that the sign was still up there, the notice that I had, but she is taking care of the front part of the yard, but the side, she still has a lot of stuff growing up and over, and then she's got random piles.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Bates?
Just wondering why this hasn't come up before us now in the 2-year history of this going on.
It started when it was Hurricane Ian, and then we had to, I forget what it's called, but we didn't do any notices or violations or anything. So then after the hurricane came, then I started again. And I had contacted a family member of hers because I couldn't get a hold of her because the house was messed up from the hurricane. So I contacted a family member. They contacted her, and then she started cleaning it all off. As you see, everything was getting removed. And so I was like, oh, good, we're going to get compliance soon. And then it just stopped again. So I told her, we're going to have to go to code board, so.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Kramer, this is your opportunity to speak.
I don't have an excuse, and this will apply to the next piece as well, is I got sick. I relocated before the hurricane because the hurricane was coming. I got sick. It fell behind. It got to the point where I was overwhelmed. I was making good progress. Unfortunately, I got COVID again. It took me a long time to recover. I've been working on and Officer Hanson has worked incredibly well with me and been very patient as I've been trying to get this. The house is going up for sale. It's reached the point where I don't have the time, the money, the effort to be able to go back and forth between locations and get it into compliance within the time frame, and I don't have an excuse.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate you being forthright. Let me ask you this, and then we'll see if there's any other questions. The recommendation is coming in compliance by August 12th. Is that doable?
By April 12th, yeah. I'm in contact with I'm in contact with a Cash for Houses realtor to.
You're comfortable with that date?
It's going to be tight.
It looks like you've cleaned up the front of it quite a bit.
Yeah, the yard will be handled, the secondary portion, which is the roof. I have not been able to secure a roofer to be able to do the job that I can afford, which is the reason that it's going up for sale. That's why I'm going through one of the Cash for Houses places, because it should be an under 30-day turnaround.
So you're comfortable with that date? April 12th?
Yeah, I would ask for 30 days if possible because of the turnaround to get it closed on. But yeah, I will make it work.
Ms. Townsend? I thought you had a question, maybe?
I know.
Okay. Well, if we were to go 30 days, let me see where that brings us. Well,
April 27th?
Yeah, April 27th, here we go. Yes, is what she's saying would be a more comfortable date for her. Any opposition from the county?
Whatever the board decides.
I would make the motion to take staff recommendation with the change of the date to April 27th, 30 days.
For compliance.
Is that right?
Compliance date of April 27th on or before.
What'd I say?
That's great.
Oh, okay,
Just confirming.
yes.
Okay, yes.
Second by Mr. Dudley, motion by Ms. Townsend, accept staff's recommendation as presented, however, changing the compliance date to April 27th or $50 a day fine. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? So what we've done, you've got till April 27th. Thank you for coming today and sharing what you shared.
Second part?
She has an
Oh, you have the next case too, yes, I'm sorry. 20, it's on page 2, and it's case number 3, which is, it's item number 3, case number 24-15 CEB, same respondent Sharon O. Creamer, same address, 809 Cherokee Circle, Sanford, Florida. Officer Henson.
Code Enforcement Officer Shannon Henson, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, North Region. For the record, I'm submitting a copy of the presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. Case number 2415 CEB, Shannon Kramer, 809 Cherokee Circle, Seminole County, Florida. Violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in Chapter 95.3C, remains or rubble of a structure. My first inspection was August 15, 2022. First notice, September 6, 2022, November 7, 2022, and January 10, 2022. Compliance dates were September 23, 2022, November 23, 2022, January 25th, 2023. The follow-up inspections were September 8th, 2022, October 6th, 2022, with my final inspection is in March 27th, 2024. The results of follow-up inspection, violation of remains of a structure remains on the property. These pictures were taken August 15, 2022, September 6, 2022, November 4th, 2022, January 3rd, 2023, January 10th, 2023, February 7th, 2023, March 7th, 2023, June 27th, and July 18th, 2023, December 5th, 2023, February 7th, 2024, March 8th, 2024, when I posted, and March 27th, 2024. The suggested recommendation by the Code Enforcement Officer is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2415 CEB, is determined that the respondent, Shannon Kramer, is the owner of the property located at 809 Cherokee Circle, located in Seminole County, is determined by the property appraiser's record, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code Chapter 95, 95.4, as defined in 95.3C. And further, it is recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of April 12, 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must repair or remove the rubble of a structure. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $100 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact myself to have a follow-up inspection to verify compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Henson? Seeing none, ma'am, this is just a different violation on the same property. Do you have any
I don't have any additional.
request on that? You see the dates, the same original recommended date on the other one. I think we gave you on the other one to 27th. Would you like that to be considered? Is that comfortable?
That would be my ask.
Is
Yes,
that
please.
long enough?
Yeah, I like I said, I'm working on the sale of it now.
Okay.
I'd like to, unless there's discussion, I'd like to move that we accept the recommendation of staff with a compliance date of April 27.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Sonnen, second by Mr. Bates to accept staff's recommendation as presented, however, changing the compliance date to April 27th or $100 a day fine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's what we've done. You get the same amount of time. When you come to compliance, let the officer know, okay? And thank you for coming and presenting what you presented. Moves us to item number 4, same page, page 2, case number 24-16, CEB Jones, LaShonda, East Altamont Drive, Altamont Springs 32701. I believe we may have a witness after to testify, I'm not sure. Officer, and could you identify yourselves after you get seated in there, of who you are?
I'm LaShonda Jones.
Okay, and the gentleman next to you?
Henry Jones.
Thank you. His relationship, I see your name's on the property.
He's my father.
Okay, thank you. Officer Adair, whenever you're ready.
Right. Officer Adair, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement for South Region. I'm going to submit this copy of PowerPoint as Exhibit A. This is case number 24-16-CEB. The respondent is LaShonda Jones. The property is located on East Altamont Drive, Crossroads Brewer Street, in Seminole County, Florida. The violation charge is Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 11, as defined in Section 30.182, use is permitted. Storage on a vacant parcel is not a permitted use in R1 zoning district. So the initial inspection was on October 5th, 2023. Notices to respondents were October 11th and November 15th, 2023. They had compliance dates of November 11th and November 30th, 2023. And my follow-up inspections were November 14th, November 28th, 2023, March 13th, 2024, and March 27th, 2024. Follow-up inspection results were that the unpermitted use violation remains on the property. These images are from my first initial inspection on October 5th, 2023. I think one of your employees, Pete, allowed me in the back. So this is behind, this picture on the right is behind the fence, the pile of junk all the way in the back of the property. This is a follow-up inspection on November 14th, 2023. It's hard to tell, but behind the golf carts, you can see not much has changed. And the picture on the right is to the left of his food shack, showing all the junked cars and some of the rubbish there as well. Another follow-up inspection on November 28th, 2023. Not much has changed. You can still see the pile of rubbish behind the gate lines on the left side. This was 2 weeks ago on March 13th, 2024. Nothing has changed. There's still the rubbish located in the back. And this was my inspection yesterday, March 27th, 2024. You can see the pile has gotten bigger. Suggested recommendation by me is based on testimony and evidence presented in case number 24-16-CEB. It is determined that the respondent, LaShonda Jones, is the owner of record of the property located at East Altamont Drive, located in Seminole County as determined by the property appraiser records, is in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 11, Section 30.182. It is further recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of April 25th, 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove all storage, rubbish from the vacant parcel and refrain from bringing it back. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $100 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact me to ensure compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Adair?
Yeah, what is the origin of this complaint?
The fire marshal from Altamont Springs, Jesse Weed.
Thank you.
If my memory serves me right, and it's been a number of years, I thought Officer, Dorothy Hurd had a case related to, I don't know if it's this property or the folks here. Yes. Do you know if this property has a prior similar violation that we should be considering? I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I think they may have been on somebody else's property. It's been 5 or 6 years, I think.
From my knowledge, no, I did not see anything opened up.
Okay. We'll leave it at, okay. Any other questions for Officer Adair? Okay, Ms. Jones or Mr. Jones, it's your opportunity to speak.
So,
This is the old Jones Barbecue.
yes, sir. Well, the old Jones Barbecue was located where the other restaurant is now. This was the property that was always owned by the same family, basically. So, to be honest, I hadn't been over in a long time. When Officer Adair contacted me, I called him back and we spoke. That the stuff you see, he's accumulated over 40 years. He told me he's been cleaning it up. He did start with the roadway first. I went over today to actually see for myself. I work at night, so I'm like, I sleep during the day and I live in Orlando, so I'm just not over there that often. So I went over today, and the roadway part, he says he's taking those out every day. He's 82 years old. He's doing it by himself. He has a couple people that are homeless that help him do it. I did want to get the property zone commercial. Officer Adair informed me that they wouldn't do it because the surrounding properties are residential. However, the residential property is only on the right side of him. The property directly behind him is being used as commercial, although it's residential as well, by the people that own the petrified forest. So I don't understand if the property in front of him on 436, the property behind him is being used as commercial. The property in front of him is being used as commercial. I don't understand why I can't zone that commercial. I understand it does look a mess. I do agree. I just ask that you give him more time. He's trying. He's old. And also I expressed to Officer Adair, I could say to my dad, you know, I can't afford to have somebody just come clean it out. I could say to him, you know, cut it out, let's clean it up, whatever, hurry up. But this is how he eats. This is how he keeps a place to live. If I do this to him, this is giving him a death sentence. My dad is an old man who's worked hard his whole life. If I stop him from working, he's gonna die. I don't know how much longer I have with him, but I know what this means. And I mean, I would rather you guys find me than for me to basically kill him. So that's all I have to say.
And how much, you're asking for additional time, how much time?
He told me that he's gonna try to have it cleaned up in the next 6 months. It's a lot of stuff for an 82-year-old to clean up at once. I didn't pay attention and it got out of hand. I'm sorry. You can speak.
Mr. Jones.
Well, I've been there for 46 years. She was a baby when I first started there. And I've been putting, I pick up stuff myself, and people bring me stuff. I don't buy nothing. I store it back there, then I sell it. I don't have to pay no taxes on it, because just like a person that go in the dumpsters and get it, or get it on the side of the road and bring it back there. But when the price go up, I sell it. That's my living. It ain't no commercial. I'm talking about it ain't no business. I ain't got no sign up. They say Jones Scrap Yard or nothing. It's just sitting back there. So what's wrong with that?
It looks a mess, Dad.
Thank you. Also, there, in relationship to where the restaurant used to be that I remember, you know where I'm talking about, on 436 on the other side of the Wawa. I'm just trying to figure out, because it says Altamont,
Yes.
but then it says residential, and I can't, in my head, and I heard her say Petrified Fort, I think that's where the haunted house thing
Right,
is.
and so the property is directly behind the haunted house.
Behind it going south
Right.
off of Altamont?
Right, and so the haunted house is on Cimarron. Directly behind it is the property. Adjacent to it
So
is
it's
the
really
old
like a
restaurant.
side street there, isn't it?
So
It's in
the
the
side
woods.
street was kind of abolished once they did the storage unit over there behind Wawa. So what was it, Penter, Mike Penter, when he was going to do the storage unit, he asked to have it zoned commercial. They told him no, because he was going to get it zoned for me, commercial, and they told him no. So that road that runs through there, they're supposedly abolishing the road that runs through there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got hands raised. So I think we have some people in the audience that may want to speak to this. Would the Officer Adair, do you have possible witnesses that are here today?
I don't think the witnesses would provide any information further than what's provided in the slides.
It's up to the board's discretion as to whether it would be relevant to your decision in any way. Typically, I don't recommend quieting public comment if it's relevant or germane, but it's within the board's discretion.
I guess, what's the board's pleasure to hear the witnesses?
If someone's taken the time to come here to testify, I'd like to hear what they have to say.
I would sort of agree to that, and we'll decide whether or not it's relevant. So, who has, I thought I saw two hands raised, one, okay, just you want to, and you were sworn in, sir?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I would just recommend, I don't mean to interrupt,
Yes,
just
sir.
recommend if there's an individual that is here on behalf of a group of people that will summarize the group's position, that's usually the most efficient way if there are people that are together.
Okay, you're prepared to speak for anyone else that may be here?
For TMK Holding, the owner of the property that used to be Uncle John's Barbecue.
Okay, yes, sir.
Hi.
Go ahead, whatever you have to say that may be relevant to
Yes,
this.
sir. You were mentioning that
Sir,
there is a road.
please state your name and your...
Yes, my name is Reza Khan,
And your address?
525 Via Verona Lane, Altamont Springs, 32714.
And you're the owner of TMK property? or-
TMK Holding, the
Is that the
adjacent
metal
property.
company?
Pardon me?
Is that a metal company?
No, it's a construction company.
Okay.
It's a holding,
Okay,
TMK
gotcha, okay.
Holdings.
Just
On
curious.
the property.
Yes, sir.
Okay. As you mentioned,
Where the restaurant used to be.
yes, Uncle John's used to be, but now it's Poblanos, previously Poblanos. There is the road that you come in that is called Pearl Street, which is located between the Petrified Forest and the Poblanos restaurant. And that's a county right-of-way road. And at the end of it, is that what you see? That all pile of garbage and pile of numerous different things, is a metal scrapyard business is going on there in reality. And that did not start 45 years ago or 30 years, not even 20, not even 10 years ago. Started was 7, 8 years ago. Less than 7 years. He started that business over there. Bringing all kinds of garbage there. And the county road, right now we are trying to lease the property. As soon as you drive in, you will see this pile of trash, metal and the rest, anything you name it, is there. Everybody's asking, is this gonna stay like this? Prior to me, apparently, fire department complained because the vacant property that he's using, it started 2016 using it. And that's a vacant property. Now, I have only one request from these commissioners. There is a county road over there. I don't care what's behind it. gate. They covered the street. They gated the street. It doesn't concern me. It doesn't affect me. It's not bad for me. Do whatever you want behind it. It's between you and the city and the rest. But in the county road that you drive in, please let's keep it clean. And the focus has been on that. But here is my request. If I am a citizen, I'm the owner next door. If I see the county road dirty, do I have a right, if I see garbage on it, do I have a right to clean it on my own dime, my own expense, and keep it nice and clean and groomed? That's one question. Second is, Mr. Jones has raised the ground level where the water's supposed to drain to the south. Now he's draining back to the 436 because he put pebbles in there just because he's selling barbecue there occasionally without the license and all that. And, you know, the water is flowing backward where it's supposed to go south toward the lake. Now he's going.
That's sort of out of our purview, but.
I'd like a clarification before you
Yes.
say anything else. In the beginning, you said that it was a right-of-way, and now you're calling it a road. Is it a right-of-way or a road? Does anybody know?
Well, I don't know.
Officer Adair, do you know?
Yes.
There are portions of Mr. Jones' property that is covered in rubbish that is or public county road.
It's definitely not a road, though. It's a,
A right-of-way is not a road.
I'm sorry, I have maybe a little bit more information. It is called Pearl Street. When you turn in from 436.
So it's an actual street, not a right-of-way. Okay.
No, Pearl Street, but at the end of a Pearl Street is the county right-of-way where all this trash is stored.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, you should afford Ms. Jones, if she wishes to cross-examine the gentleman or ask any questions, she should be allowed.
So I just like to say that I understand what Reza is saying. In one sense, he's right about him selling the stuff that he collects. It did not start 7 or 8 years ago. It actually started longer than that ago. And I can honestly tell you that that property and that stuff has been piled back there forever. When they started the petrified forest, I was actually pregnant with my last child. She's now 16. It was going on long even before then. So this is not something that just started 6, 7 years ago. This is something that has accumulated. I'm being honest with you. I know that it's a mess, but this is something that has accumulated over 40 years, honestly.
Can you tell me, ma'am, how often the food truck operates there?
I don't even know, because he told me he wasn't doing it anymore. And then I spoke with my sister about it, and she says, well, sometimes he does. People come and ask him, and then sometimes he'll buy food and cook it a couple days. I don't think it's something that's consistent. I think it's something that, because he's been in that location so long, different people ask him to cook, and then once he's not making enough money to pay his bills with whatever he can cash out, maybe he cooks a couple days. I can't be honest and tell you how many days, but I know it's not all the time. That's my honest answer.
Have anything for him you'd like to speak before I ask him?
I need
Okay.
to say something, please.
If it's relevant.
I know Nikki since she was a little kid. We were neighbors since 1990. Okay. Nikki was a little kid. She is right. I don't wish any harm or ill toward them. I told Henry, why don't you put the fence front of all your garbage? I help you to develop your food truck in here. Make it nice, a little courtyard. County won't say anything. I help you. I give you water. I give you electricity. From my
Okay, that might be a good idea.
I don't wish ill on them.
I understand.
Okay?
I understand.
It's just that the only thing is I want that county road to stay clean.
Sure, we understand.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Any other questions for Officer Adair or the Joneses? The request is for 6 months extending the date is what the request is. The recommendation is compliance by April 25th or $100 a day fine. So,
I mean, it's clear that it's not going to be complied with by April 25th, so I'll let that guide what the board would like to do, but I've been to this property, there's a very large mess there.
any thoughts on a motion?
Would 90 days or 120 days or something like that, would that help, or would that just be kicking the can down the road and not getting a solution?
Ms. Townsend, did you have a thought?
Yes, I'm confused. Officer there.
Yes.
I'm trying to picture this because I'm not familiar with the area. So you turn onto a street, at the end of the street is county right-of-way. And this trash is on county right-of-way property, not his private property. Is that correct?
Both.
Oh, both.
Most of it is on his private property, but there are sections where it has crossed over. Like, can you go back to the slide with your car?
So is there any possibility the county will clean up their section of the property?
I will have to get in contact with roads and see if there's anything they could do.
When they say street, though, it's much more like a small strip of road that enters to the restaurant on your left and the Jones property behind and the petrified forest is on your right. Don't think of it as like a regularly county-maintained
I got you.
large road. That's not what it is.
But at the end of that, there is county right-of-way where there is a portion of rubbish.
Yes.
I would think it would help if you could get the county to take care of the part that's on their property. Don't know what the dimension of that is, but.
Any thoughts? We heard from Mr. Bates.
Did you say this was initiated by the fire marshal?
Correct.
What was his reasoning for? Is this a health and safety issue? Or?
I believe so. It's been a little bit since I read his initial email, but he sent me pictures and asked me to take this case on.
I would say from the pictures, there's no mistaking it's a health and safety issue, especially with the large amount of tires that are stored there. And the varmints. I know I sound heartless so often when we're on this board. I think 6 months is a long time. If it's been going on for years, that makes it, in my opinion, more dire. And so I would personally go along with staff recommendation. I'd make that motion.
Just to clarify on the motion, does the motion include that you think it's a public safety issue as well?
Could you put that back up on the screen, please? I don't see that in my book, what the motion was.
And just that, the reason I ask is because if the board finds that the violation poses a public safety issue, then the order will then be
That's my
transmitted to the
personal opinion.
county.
If the fire marshal didn't say that, then I don't think that should be
I
in
understand.
the...
I'm not trying to inject it. I'm just saying that if the board feels that it becomes a safety issue, the order will be transmitted to the county. Then the county may or may not wish to take remedial action and assess any costs of such against the landowner. It's just it's a statutory empowerment if the board feels it's a safety issue for the public.
Statutory empowerment for the county?
Yes,
To help out with
it
it?
authorizes them to take action at the subject property to bring the property into compliance, but there's a cost.
So I can make that motion on my personal opinion?
Well, it has to be based on the testimony and evidence.
Well, it is based on the testament and the pictures that we
But
saw.
that's within the board's power to do if the board feels it's a safety issue.
All right,
Yes.
could you couch that motion for me?
Well, what I'm trying to say is, if the board finds that there's a violation, and in fact the violation is a public safety concern, then that becomes part of the motion. If it's seconded and approved, then the order from the chairman and the board is transmitted to the county. The county then is empowered, they don't have to, but they are empowered to take remedial action to bring the property into compliance, and the costs that the county incurs to do that can be assessed against the property owner. So, this is only to suggest that because there's been discussion about the safety, that needs to be vetted out or confirmed as it is an issue or not an issue in the board's determination. That's the reason I asked the question.
Mr. Simon?
Might we ask Ms. Jones what her opinion is on that, as to whether or not that would be something that would help the Jones family if the county were to clean this property and give you a bill for it?
So, to be honest, sir, if they were to clean the property, it would cost me, and then he wouldn't make the money he needs to take care of himself. That's why he's trying to sell it. But can I
I
also...
want to throw that out there when it's out of our...
And they would have to take care of their portion of it, not the whole thing.
Yeah, the only reason I mention is that it's up to the county. If they are notified of that, the county ultimately has the power to decide whether or not they take that action. So that can't be any part of a thought that will remedy a situation. It's just a procedural.
And they would only take care of their portion, not his private property.
Well, no, it would empower the county to take remedial action against the subject property if the county felt it was a safety issue for the community, and the costs of that could then be assessed against the landowner.
Well, I think the fact that it's been brought forward by the fire marshal shows that it's a safety issue.
May I please speak? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I also want to make a point that the rubbish that you see, I understand what you're saying about the varmints and everything, but what you're not seeing is like right on the other side is piles of, looks like trash as well, because that's what they use to build the petrified forest, old wood, old broken down cars, old, all kind of stuff like that. So like what you see is where his fence is open, but that extends into like the other part of a storage part where they store all that stuff that they break down from the petrified forest, which is also basically garbage. So it's the same kind of stuff right on the property behind it. It's just you can't see it because it's behind him. You see what I'm saying?
Well, that has not been brought forward as a complaint, so that's not something we can consider at this.
Yes, no ma'am, I understand. I was just trying to let you know that that's not the only like thing that could create rodents is what
I understand.
Yeah.
Before we get to a second on this motion, in your opinion, what would we be able to say in this motion that we would hope that the county would take care of its portion of?
No, I apologize. And I'm not sure that, if there is a motion before, I might have missed it, so I apologize. All I was saying is that Chapter 162 states that if the Code Enforcement Board, or magistrate, in this case, board, finds that that the violation creates a public safety welfare issue and concern, that be a part of the order that emanates from the board. And if that happens, that order then will be transmitted to the county to alert the county, the governing municipality of the county, of that concern from the fact finder. Then the county would have that order and could statutorily then take action if they choose to, if the county chooses to, which is their discretion. And if they do take that action, incur that expense and bring the property into compliance, assess that cost of whatever that would cost against the landowner. That's contained in Chapter 162. So I just want to make sure the board is aware that if there is a public safety concern on this, that should be a part of any motion and order, if that's the board's feeling. Not suggesting it is or is not. I'm not trying to influence the board.
Well, I'd like to make it clear to the county that there's a problem on their right-of-way.
I don't understand. Public safety and welfare issues is how it's framed in the chapter 162. So, and I apologize if there was a motion.
I don't think there was.
No.
Okay.
We're almost there.
We're almost there.
All right.
So the recommendation is compliance by April 25th or $100 a day fine. The request from respondents was 6 months. So that's where we're at. Ms. Townsend clearly explained she wouldn't be comfortable with that amount of time, and that maybe it should be also considered a public health and safety issue.
I'm going to try my best to couch this, unless one of the gentlemen wants to try to do it. Based on the finding of the fire marshal and what we have seen here, I would make the motion that it is a public safety health issue, and to have it.
And so is your motion that you think there's a violation?
Yes.
And the violation is a public safety issue?
I do.
And if it is, then you would set a date to be brought into compliance.
Okay, I would like to set it for 30 days. Is that time enough for it to be transferred to the county for their consideration?
Let me just suggest that I would separate what the county will or won't do on it, just to stay in the lane of, is there a violation? If so, is the violation a public safety, welfare situation? And a date for compliance, and failing a date of compliance, that a certain daily fine.
That I would make the motion that the board, I lost my train of thought there.
I take it
That
forward.
there is a violation,
That's your vote, okay.
and I would suggest a 60-day extension. That would be June the 25th.
Compliance on or before June
Right,
25th.
compliance on or before June 25th.
And if no compliance?
If no compliance, then the fine would become
$100.
active, yes,
Okay.
at $100 a day.
And is that motion finding that the violation is a public safety concern?
Yeah, I thought I said it at the
I was just
beginning.
clarifying, just wanted to clarify. It's okay, I just wanted to
Yes,
clarify that.
finding that it is a public safety concern, that would be my motion.
So now it's right for a second if someone from the board wishes to.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Ms. Townsend, second by Mr. Davis, that moving the compliance date to June 25th, or $100 day fine, and also finding it to be a public health and safety issue.
Yes.
Everybody on board there? Okay, now, all in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So that's what we've done. You've got to June 25th, not quite as long as he asked for, but still an extension, and wish you the best. Thank you for coming in. Thank you, Mr. Jones. We've got good barbecue, by the way. I've eaten there before. Okay. Moving on to the next case would be item 7 on page 4. It's case number 24-20 CEB Barbara B. Fredericks, 230 Scarborough Cove, Longwood, Florida 32779.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, what case is this again?
It's on page 4. It's item number 7, case number 24-20, CEB, top of the page. And ma'am, are you Ms. Fredericks?
Yes, I am. I'm Barbara
Thank you.
Fredericks.
And when Officer Adair gets ready, we'll get started.
He'll be right back.
Does anyone else we need a break, or we're good? No? Okay.
There he comes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Officer Adair, Seminole County Code Enforcement, South Region. For the record, I'm submitting this copy of PowerPoint to the clerk. It's Exhibit A. So This is case number 24-20-CEB. The respondent is Barbara Fredericks, and this is located at 230 Scarborough Cove, Seminole County, Florida, as determined by property appraiser website. The violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in Section 95.3C, remains a rubble of a structure. The initial inspection was conducted on August 22nd, 2023, with notices to respondent on August 23rd, 2023, and October 26th, 2023. Compliance dates for those notices were September 24th, 2023, and November 26th, 2023. Follow-up inspections were on December 7th, 2023, March 12th, 2024, and March 27th, 2024. Results of the follow-up inspection is the remains rubble of a structure violation remains. So these images were from former Officer Bavaro on his initial inspection on August 22nd, 2023. It shows a hole in the chimney and on both ends, front and back. Also, these images were taken by Officer Bavaro on December 7th, 2023. Nothing has changed. You can still see the hole in the roof. These images were taken by me on my initial inspection on March 12th, 2024. Same condition as previous inspections. And these images were taken yesterday on March 27th, 2024. You can see the hole in the chimney on the right side, and in the left side, there is a divot / hole in the roof itself. The suggested recommendation by me is based on testimony and evidence presented in case number 24-20-CEB. It is determined that the respondent, Barbara Fredericks, is the owner of record of the property located at 230 Scarborough Cove, located in Seminole County as determined by the property appraiser records, is in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in Section 95.3C. It is further recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to correct a violation on or before midnight of April 25th, 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove, repair, or secure the remains of rubble of a structure. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $100 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact me to arrange inspection for the property to verify compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Adair?
Yes.
Mr. Bay.
Officer Adair, what would this lady need to do on the property to bring it into compliance? Repair those holes in the structure, or what exactly?
So yes, she would have to repair the holes in the chimney and the roof itself, either replace the roof, have that quoted out, but in previous reports, Officer Bavaro stated that Ms. Fredericks had a quote for around $27,000 to to repair the roof, and that it's unsafe for builders to actually go up there and repair the roof itself. So one option is repairing it. Another option, I believe, is to secure the whole property with a chain link fence.
Is it occupied now?
Yes.
It is? It's occupied?
I've been told Miss Frederick lives in there, yes.
Can you tell me when the initial, Mr. Bavaro's initial report was that found it out of compliance?
It was, on August 22nd.
Thank you.
Oh, it was 2023, I believe.
Yes, August 22nd, 2023.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions? Ma'am, it's your opportunity to speak to this.
Well, Officer Vinnie had come out and talk to me. And so we hired a contractor. One of the HOA board members gave me a name, and he came out and gave me an estimate. And there was also a part in the front where the siding was missing also. And so the estimate was for $5,000, $5,700 or something. And he came, he repaired just the 3 pieces of siding on the front, and then said he couldn't go up on the roof because it wasn't safe, and so he couldn't do the rest of it. I got a $500 refund, $500 and some dollars refund. And so since that time, I had talked to Officer Vinnie. He suggested maybe calling Seminole County for assistance because I couldn't afford the roof. I've been talking to Mr. Acosta, and at the time they told me that there'd be money available the 1st of January. Well, when I called on the 2nd of January, they said, well, all the money was given out in December, and so to keep trying, so I, beginning of each month, so I call each month. So far, there hasn't been money available to assist me. So I'm just at a loss. I live on Social Security. I was told I could either move, which would cost me more than what it costs to live there. I could build a fence around the house, but that the homeowners wouldn't go. The area that part is there's a pool enclosure, and then there's a gate at the other end, but he said that wasn't adequate to fence it in. So I've done nothing, but just because I can't.
The roof doesn't leak?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I mean, I would have loved to have it done years ago,
Right. And you live there by yourself? Mm-hmm. Ms. Townsend?
Help me out here. What good would a chain link fence do for the roof?
It's a recommendation by the building official. Sorry. So it's a recommendation by the building official to secure the property with a chain link fence. To answer your original question, not much, because the roof would still have a hole and leaking. So a fence doesn't rectify that issue. It just prevents others from getting in.
And are we thinking people are going to go in and climb around on the roof?
I do not think so.
Okay. Odd.
Is the property in any danger of being condemned? I mean, is it safe and okay for this lady to live there?
I don't have the authority to say that, but my opinion would be no, because a roofing person is saying it's unsafe to go on the roof, meaning it could collapse if there's further weight on it.
I mean, I've got an estimate to do the roof, but it's $27,000. I mean, I can't get a loan, and I don't have that kind of money, so I'm looking for assistance.
But if the property should end up being condemned because of unsafe conditions, then she's got a whole another set of problems. Where does she go? What does she do? But she certainly can't continue to live in condemned property. But
Do you have any organizations that you've reached out to, church or otherwise, charitable?
Habitat, and I was told they didn't have any money. Every name I was given, nobody has money because of, I don't know why. I mean,
What money
they-
was you talked to somebody saying there'd be money in January. What money, was that the county, the
It was
state?
from Development Services, and his name was Benito Acosta.
I'm just curious. I don't know anything about that.
They're, well, it doesn't matter where they're located.
Goodness.
People aren't here who want to speak.
Is the board okay hearing, we have some people here who would like to speak in the audience? Have you all been sworn in?
Yes.
Okay,
I
if
didn't
you-
sign in though, so if you need me to sign in, I really wasn't anticipating saying anything, but I live,
If you could step up, and we're going to need you to identify yourself at the podium there. And ma'am, your name, please, and address.
my name is Susan Olvey, O-L-V-E-Y, and I'm at 226 Scarborough
Okay.
Cove. My house is connected to Barbara's house. We have 0 lot line, so I literally am connected to her house. Her screen attaches to my house, and I was the first one to see the hole. And while I have compassion for getting older and having financial situations, there has been a remedy offered. Our homeowners association president has a cash buyer for Ms. Frederick. I don't know the details, but I know that has been offered. Rather than have her house condemned and have nothing, there has been a cash offer for her home by multiple people over the years and currently.
I'm not familiar with that. You told me one time that you could get a realtor to buy my house. I talked to somebody and she said that she would buy it or, but.
Cheryl has somebody, and I know you don't want to, but at what point in time are you, I mean, we all wonder if this house is going to collapse in on you.
This is a 2-story house, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's, the hole that is like this big around. I
Okay,
mean,
thank you, I appreciate the input. Well, I'm not sure if that's an immediate solution to this. I'm sure there's cash buyers all over the place.
Yeah.
I'd like to, I'm sorry, go ahead. I guess we're waiting for discussion here, because, I mean,
We have to make a motion and then
I mean,
discussion.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept staff's recommendation in this situation and give the time to comply, and if it's not complied with, then the fine suggested by staff begin. I don't see any other way here that we're going to get this situation resolved. I wish there was another
The
way, but I
problem
don't see
is,
one.
I mean, $100 a day.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, there's a motion on the floor right now. The board's in discussion.
Mr. Townsend, you wanted to speak, I think, or no?
Well, there hadn't been a second yet.
Correct.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is accept staff's recommendation.
I'll second for discussion.
Second by Mr. Bates for discussion.
Okay.
Ms. Townsend?
I don't know what to say.
I mean, I would love to have a different and better solution here, but
Yes.
I don't see it. I mean, if it's going to be $100 a day, then she may have to make this decision on selling the home, which seems to be the most prudent thing to do.
Mr. Chairman, if I could?
Yes, sir.
Just an observation as counsel for the board. The very difficult case, of course, as you all know. Board really can't try to solve the matter. The motion has addressed the violation and the recommendation for time to comply or a resulting fine. Certainly, in the event that a fine begins to accrue, because compliance is not met, there are procedural machinations whereby respondents can reappear before board at some subsequent time to address the accrued fine and so forth. So I think trying to get it solved is probably going to be beyond the collective capability you've got.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have one question of council. So if we go with the fine as recommended, does that put a lien on her house if she's trying to sell it?
Well, it it begins to accrue as a fine that can be recorded as an administrative fine and creating a lien, yes. But, again, I'm sure that the lien holder, the county would be incentivized at making sure that the property is brought into compliance. So,
And my only comment was in regards to the fine itself. And the fines are normally used as leverage to get somebody to fix something. It doesn't matter what the fine is here. She's not going to be able to do it, obviously, it appears. So my only thought is, maybe we've had some $50 a day fines. I hate to penalize her in the end if she decides to sell the house and then she's got a lien and money's that are in code enforcement that are, they'll be somewhere, assuming, but.
I would certainly be friendly to an amendment.
You do have a motion which is seconded, so it's right to be voted upon, even if it's going to be
We can
unsuccessful.
make a friendly amendment to it. You want to do that to $50 instead of 100? Is that what you said?
That's what I was thinking.
The way I've always practiced is because a motion's been seconded, the way framed, it has to be addressed respectfully.
If it passes, then there'll be another motion.
Correct. If it weren't to pass, then there'd have to be another motion sometime.
So all in favor of the motion on the floor as it stands, which would be the compliance by April 25th or $100 a day fine, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No?
No.
Aye.
$100 a day
Ma'am,
fine.
the board is acting right now.
We're not done yet.
I'm sorry, so the votes in favor of that motion,
Aye.
to say aye, and the nay votes?
Nay.
Nay.
Three, so that motion failed.
I'd like to move that we accept the recommendation of staff, compliance by April 25th. If that's not complied with, then the fine would be $50 a day.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Simon, second by Mr. Bates, accept staff's recommendation as presented, however, reducing the fine if not into compliance at $50 a day. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, ma'am, that's what we've done. The recommended date is April 22nd. We understand your difficulties, but we don't have any answers for that. We're very sorry. So
$50 a day.
those would be fines, as you heard.
$1,500 a month, and I barely make that much in Social Security.
We understand that's really on the low end of fines that this board normally imposes. You heard counsel here. If it gets to the point where these fines actually turn into a possible lien or start accruing, you can always, let me finish here, ma'am. You can always request to come back here and speak to us about reducing it, tell us what's happened. The board would probably expect to see some movement or something happening, if you, I don't know whether it's you got your house, a contract or whether you, whatever. But, so you can come back is my point and ask for consideration on the fines. Yeah, but, so, I'm sorry, you're welcome to speak, ma'am.
Can I interject?
Yes.
Was the recommendation for April 22nd?
No, it was the 25th. It was just a misspoke.
Isn't that what you?
Mr. Chairman, if I could address the
Yes.
slide. Just, ma'am, the board has acted within the scope of what it's allowed to do, but you clearly have people here in the community that have an interest in your well-being. They're here. I would encourage you to work with them and county staff and seek other help and alternatives, but the board doesn't have the ability to remedy the situation, unfortunately.
I mean, I call this person every month, and he said, call back in a month, and we'll see if we...
Yes, ma'am.
Well, a month from now is April.
Yes, ma'am.
The end of April,
I
I'm
understand.
already in compliance.
I understand.
And for me to...
No, I understand. I'm just encouraging you to speak with your neighbors and your community
My neighbors
and the
are
county.
the ones that are complaining.
Yes, ma'am. I
Is
understand.
there any way your family could help you out, your daughter?
Yes.
Anyways, Mr. Chairman, yes.
Okay.
Don't have well.
We're going to have to move on to the next case.
Side discussion.
Maybe
Yeah.
my ex-husband.
And you can have this discussion with them. Also, have you been in touch with the family? I'm just curious.
I have not, no, I just took over this case.
Okay.
So is it possible for you to contact county development?
Yes.
That would be great. Okay, thank you. Ma'am, thank you for coming in today. We all hope for the best for you, and again, you can come back if you need to, if the situation dictates.
How do I go about that with your
Ma'am, yeah, the board can't give you any further direction, ma'am. So work with the county, with your community and your support group as best as you can.
The next case is on the same page, page number 4. It's item number 8. It's case number 24-21 CEB Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh, 750 Willoughby Court, Winter Springs, 32708. Officer Judges, and this respondent has 5 cases.
All the pieces with the defendants here, because they're not here. Mine are not here. So I just wanted to make sure.
I've got the McVeighs, I've got 5 cases.
Yes, but the defendants are not here. I just wanted to make sure we had everyone else's cases of the defendants.
Oh, I got you, okay. I thought they were here. I have Marcus here. That, yes, so, yeah, if they're not here, let's go ahead and, I guess, hear that, and then we'll start at the beginning of the list. So just present them in order.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Tamara Judges, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, East Region Code Enforcement. For the record, I am submitting a copy of this PowerPoint presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is going to be 2421 CEB. We're going in order. Okay. Okay. This is case 2421 CEB, Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh. The violation is located at 750 Willoughby Court, Winter Springs, Florida, 32708. The violation charge is Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Section 31349E. And the description is all fences shall be maintained in their original upright condition. The violation was first observed on 12/7/2023. The notices were issued on 12/15/2023 and 1/10/2024. The compliance dates were 12/29/2023, 1/24/2024. Multiple follow-up inspections were done on the property, with the last one being 3/27/2024. The results of the inspection show that the fence is now in its original upright condition. And then here are my pictures. This one was taken on December 15th, 2023. These were taken on 1/3/2024, 1/26/2024, 3/13/2024. I posted on the property 3/13/2024. And then yesterday I went by and the fence had been put into compliance on 3/27/2024. The suggested recommendation by the code enforcement officer is, based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2421 CEB, it is determined that the respondents, Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh, are the owners of the record property located at 750 Willoughby Court, located in Seminole County and determined by the property appraiser's records, are in possession or control of the property and were in violation of Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 70, Section 31349E. And it is further recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondents to refrain from repeating the violation on or before midnight of March 28, 2024, or a fine of $50 will be imposed for each violation continues or is repeated. They must contact me when the property is in compliance for inspection. This concludes my presentation.
Thanks. I guess we'll knock these out one at a time. First of all, is there anyone here to speak as to this particular case or this respondent? Seeing none, any questions for Officer Judges? The recommendation is find there is a violation, compliance date of 3/28, March 28th, for $50 a day fine.
I move that we accept the recommendation of the officer, please.
Second.
Motion as I just read by Mr. Bates, second by Ms. Townsend. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Okay, motion carries. Next case is item number 924-22 CEB. Same respondent, Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh.
Yes.
Same address, 750 Willoughby Court, Winter Springs, 32708. Officer, judges.
Tamara Judges, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, East Region Code Enforcement. For the record, I am submitting a copy of this PowerPoint presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. 22. This is case 24-2022 CEB, Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh. The violation is located at 750 Willoughby Court, Winter Springs, Florida, 32708. The violation charged is Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3A, rubbish. The violation was first observed on 12/7/2023. The notices were issued on 12/15/2023 and 1/10/2024. The compliance dates were 12/29/2023 and 1/24/24. Multiple follow-up inspections were done on the property, with the last one being on 3/27/2024. Results of the following inspection show that rubbish is no longer on the property. These are my pictures that were taken on 12/15/2023. You can see on the left-hand side up by the fence, it's a big mound of tree debris. This was on January 3rd, 2024, January 26th, 2023, March 13th, 2023. I posted on March 13th, 2023. This was March 27, 2023, and the rubbish from, there were bags in the bushes have been removed. The mound of tree debris has been removed from the backyard. The suggested recommendation by the code enforcement officer is based on the testimony of evidence presented in case number 24/2022 CEB. It is determined that the respondent, Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh, are the owners of record of the property located at 750 Willoughby Court, located in Seminole County as determined by the property appraiser's records, are in possession or control of the property, and were in violation of the Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3A. And it is further recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to refrain from repeating the violation on or before midnight of March 28th, 2024, or a fine of $100 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated. The respondents must contact myself for an inspection of the property to verify compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Judges? Seeing none, recommendation, finder's violation, compliance by March 28th, or $100 a day fine.
I move this officer's recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bates, second by Mr. Davis to accept staff's recommendation as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No?
And the motion carries. Brings us to the...
For clarification,
Yes, sir.
could we ask Mr. Simon what his objection is?
I mean, these people are, my objection is that the people are in compliance, and, to see that they got into compliance like they were supposed to, I mean, I would like to not immediately begin fining them the next time there's any type of violation. I'd like them brought back here. Then they're a repeat offender, and I'll have a different opinion. But these people were brought in front of code enforcement, and they complied with what they were supposed to comply with.
Well,
That's where I stand.
Let me just expound on that in a general sense. I have no input on any board members with the way they vote on a matter. My interpretation of what is presented is that property was not brought into compliance within the time specified in the notices of violation. And so, albeit the property was brought into compliance after those dates that were given, but before the board hearing. By statute, that still creates a right for the city or county to prosecute the case. And really what the board members are being asked is whether or not the evidence shows that there was a violation which was not corrected within the time specified.
I think you were clear at the start of this meeting that what is being asked is that we give the right to begin the $100 fines at the next site of a violation.
Well, just in finishing my thought, if in fact the board finds that the respondent was in violation not within the time specified, but before the hearing, then the statute and the testimony and the evidence would support a finding of violation, but no resulting fine because the property is currently in compliance. However, the recommendation is that a fine begin to accrue if the property falls back into violation after a certain point. And I only pointed out that by statutory definition, once you've been found in violation, based on testimony and evidence, you are within that 5-year period of time. On any other property you own or on the property you have, for that violation, you are a violator that falls under the definition of repeat violator. And if you are subsequently found in violation of that same code section on the subject property or other properties within the jurisdiction, you can be subjected to an enhanced fine. So I'm just giving you my opinion. I'm not understanding your vote of against the motion as that the respondent was not in violation. I think your point is they corrected it, and so I don't want to vote in favor of the recommendation.
That they be fined at next site of a violation.
Well, by statute, if they're found in violation, which has been found 4-1, they are by definition a violator.
Correct.
So that's what that
Correct.
means. So
I'll get you in just a minute, sir. Could you put the screen up of the first violation for me? I just want to...
Back to,
Yeah,
are you talking about in the case we just heard?
the case that we just heard.
24-22 CEB?
while we're doing that, can I make a statement? In response to your reasoning, I was going to wait until the end, but since it was brought up, I've been trying to work with this family since December of last year, and as you'll see in my next PowerPoints that are coming up, this has not only affected their property, it's affected the whole community, the neighborhood that they live in. They live on a corner lot. There are a lot of children in this neighborhood, and there are rodents. There are flies. There are flies coming in through the sewers because this property was in such bad condition, and I have not met the property owners but one time because they dodged my calls. Myself and one of my deputies waited for 40 minutes to meet with them. They did not show up, and the neighbors are calling me telling me they're running out of the house. So they did not try and work with me.
And it was what I was going to point out, because I thought, I recall, there was many non-compliances. No, the code enforcement officers usually give them at least 30 days when they first go out there and see a violation. Granted, they haven't come in, and you're welcome to your vote. I'm just sharing with you my thoughts since you shared yours. But as I recall, can we get to the dates where all the dates were that you did? Here we go. Let's see.
This started in December of last year.
December of last year. Well, this one was 2 compliance dates, so they didn't come into compliance. They ended up getting here. Some of these have multiple ones.
Well, they receive a notice of violation warning and then a notice of violation final.
Okay.
And if there is progress, we can work with the family, but like I said, they would not return any of my calls.
So let me, okay, we cleared that because there's a gentleman who wanted to speak, and there's different cases on this same respondent, and I think I'll let him.
Page 6 is the next one.
And just to let you all know as well, the father of Mrs. McVeigh is the one who has worked the last 48 hours to get this into compliance. It has not been the property owners.
Okay.
Page 6, I think, is your...
I think we've gotten through 8 and 9, correct?
I think we're still on page 5, aren't we? 24, 25 is the next one, case
I
number.
have it on page 6, is that correct? 24-25?
Oh, I had-
wrong?
Now I'm presenting 2425, uncultivated
my page.
vegetation.
Page 5.
Oh, excuse me, okay.
And sir, we close that case out. You're raising your hand. The same respondent, we have additional cases. Is this something, your testimony is not going to matter at this point because we already voted, but let us know. I'll ask you again at the end of the presentation of this case. So
Yeah, we're on 24.
and my apologies if you were raising your hand before we voted. I didn't see you. This is 24-25 CEB Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh, 750 Willoughby Court, Winter Springs, 32708. Also judges.
Tamara Judges, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, East Region Code Enforcement. For the record, I am submitting a copy of this PowerPoint presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. Thank you. This case is 2425 CEB Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh. The violation is located at 750 Willoughby Court, Winter Springs, Florida 32708. The violation charged is Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3B, uncultivated vegetation. The violation was first observed on 12/7/2023. The notices were issued on 12/15/2023 and 1/10/2024. The compliance dates were 12/29/2023 and 1/24/2024. Multiple follow-up inspections were done on the property, with the last one being on 3/27/2024. The violation of uncultivated vegetation no longer remains on the property. These are my pictures from 12/15/2023. Again, 12/15/2023. 1/3/2024. 1/3/2024. 1/26/2024. Again, 1/26/2024. 3/13/2024. 3/13/2024. That's when I posted on 3/13/2024. And my last follow-up yesterday, 3/27/2024. The suggested recommendation by Code Enforcement Officer is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2425 CEB. It is determined that the respondent Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh are the owners of record of the property located at 750 Willoughby Court, located in Seminole County, and as determined by property appraisers' records, are in possession or control of the property and were in violation of the Seminole County Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3B. And it is further recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for respondent to refrain from repeating the violation on or before midnight of March 28, 2024, or a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or repeated. The respondents must contact Code Enforcement Officer, myself, to arrange for an inspection of the property to verify compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Judges? Seeing none, the recommendation is fine. They still in violation?
No, not for this one.
Okay, was in violation with no future violations from this date forward, March 28th, 2024, or $50 a day fine. Is there a motion?
I move the officer's recommendation.
Second.
Motion for recommendation as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
And brings us to next page on my agenda, page 6. It's item 11, case number 24-26, CEB Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh, 750 Willoughby Court, Winter Springs, Florida, 32708. Officer Judges.
Tamara Judges, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, East Region Code Enforcement. For the record, I am submitting a copy of this PowerPoint presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. Can I see my water, please? This is case 2426 CEB Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh. The violation is located at 750 Willoughby Court, Winter Springs, Florida 32708. The violation charge is Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4, and defined in 95.G unsecured pool. The violation was first observed on 12/7/2023. The notices were issued on 12/15/2023 and 1/10/2024. The compliance dates were 1/29/2023 and 1/24/2024. Multiple follow-up inspections were done on the property, with the last one being on 3/27/2024. The results of the following inspection show that the pool is now secured. And here, where the fence was down on 12/15/2023, This is on 1/3/2024, and I have an arrow on the right picture as showing that there are slits in the lower part of the screen. This is on 1/26/2024, 3/13/2024, and that is showing, the left picture is the gap in the fence, and then the right picture, the actual screen door to the pool is open, so anyone can walk in there and walk right into the pool. March 13th, 2024 is when I posted the property. This was from our alert helicopter on 3/14/2024, and where the arrow is, it shows that the screen door is propped open. Yesterday, I went by for my last follow-up on 3/27/2024, and the fence had been put in its original upright condition, making the pool secured. The suggested recommendation by the code enforcement officer is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2426 CEB. It is determined that the respondents Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh are the owners of the record property located at 750 Willoughby Court, located in Seminole County, as determined by the property appraiser's records, are in possession or control of the property, and were in violation of the Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3G. And it is further recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order of the respondents to refrain from repeating the violation on or before midnight of March 28, 2024, or a fine of $250 will be imposed for each day of the violation continues or is repeated. They will need to contact myself to arrange an inspection for the property to verify compliance, and that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for us or judges? Sir, did you have something, I'm sorry I missed you, as to this case, that you'd have to...
In the beginning, it looked like no...
Sir, you'll need, if you want to speak to the board, you need to come and identify yourself into the microphone. You just need to give his name and address.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
And if you could step to this podium where also judges is and give us your name and address for the record.
Oh, God, it takes me a while.
Yeah, take your time.
I know the feeling.
If we can get your name and address, sir, for the record.
In the beginning,
Can I get your
I'm
name?
Fred Hill. I live in the neighborhood, Wind Willow Circle, Winter Springs.
Okay.
In the beginning, it seemed like that somebody on the board said that, well, since they're in compliance, when they're out of compliance again, we won't start the fine. It seems like now that's not the case, but I wanted the board to understand that these are people that are going to do this again sometime. They did it because it was posted that they were not in compliance. They're not here. They don't care. And this will happen again, so I want to be sure that when it does happen again, they start the fining. That was my only point. They have 3 children, 2 twins that are 11 years old and 1 little girl that's 3. The mother of the son that lives there, Mr. McVeigh, took them because they were not being taken care of. These people don't care. And this will happen again, given time, so I want to be sure the fine starts when it does happen again.
Thank you, and that's the way the board voted. There
Yes.
was some discussion on it. Thank you so much. Okay, and again, no questions. Did you have something else?
No.
Okay.
I'll move the officer's recommendation.
Officer's recommendation by Mr. Bates is the motion.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Davis, and that would be fine. There was a violation that's in compliance now. No further violations by March 28th of this year, or a $250 per day fine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
And brings us to item 12, same page, case number 24-27 CEB. Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh, 750 Willoughby Court, Winter Springs, Florida 32708. Officer Judges.
Tamara Judges, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, East Region Code Enforcement. For the record, I am submitting a copy of this PowerPoint presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. Oh, sorry. This is case 2427 CEB, Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh. The violation is located at 750 Willoughby Court, Winter Springs, Florida, 32708. The violation charged is Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3F, stagnant water. The violation was first observed on 12/7/2023. The notices were issued on 12/15/2023 and January 10th, 2024. The compliance dates were 12/29/2023 and January 24th, 2024. Multiple follow-up inspections were done on the property, with the last one being 3/27/2024. The results of the follow-up inspections show that the violation of stagnant or foul water remains on the property. This was taken by our helicopter alert on 3/14/2024, and it clearly shows the stagnant pool on the property. This is also two more aerial views of the property, and the arrows were actually done by alert, but I just wanted to show you and tell you again that this is a corner property, and there are many children in this neighborhood that could wander right onto this property. This was taken yesterday, 3/27/2024. Again, I spoke with Casey McVeigh's father, who's working on the property, and the reason it's still stagnant is because even though it is clearer, you can still not see the bottom, but he is diligently working on the property. The suggested recommendation by the code enforcement officer is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2427 CEB. It is determined that the respondents Joseph M. and Casey McVeigh are the owners of the record property located at 750 Willoughby Court, located in Seminole County, as determined by the property appraiser's records, are in possession or control of the property, and are in violation of the Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3F. And it is further recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondents to correct the violation on or before midnight of April 14th, 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondents must remove the stagnant water from the property. If the respondents does not comply with the order, a fine of $250 a day will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondents must contact myself to arrange for an inspection of the property to verify compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for us or judges?
Is this pool secured now, or?
Yes, it is secure. So I had a lot, but there's, from the prior presentations, the fence is actually making the pool secure because he fixed it. So it's secured all the way around the property. It was just that section of the fence that was down, making it able to get into the backyard, but it no longer exists.
How does the county look at that then, if it's secure, but it's still a stagnant pool?
Separate violation.
The violation was identified as a separate violation, which is the stagnant water, which is...
And it doesn't matter if it's secured or not then, correct?
It's still a violation
Okay.
under the code.
So God forbid the gate is left open and a child get in there, we can see them as soon as possible.
And the
I move this officer's recommendation.
Second.
Mr. Bates making a motion that there is a violation, compliance date by April 14th, or $250 a day fine. Second by Mr. Simon. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There's a request for a
Mr. Chairman.
short break, and Mr. Bates, I think, have to...
As I told you before, unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave momentarily.
Okay.
Thankfully, you still have a quorum, so you can proceed on with the rest of the business. I'm sorry, but I
No, we're
don't have
fine.
any choice no
Yeah,
matter.
we're going to take a short break here, 5 minutes, and we've got 3 cases when we come back. So we'll be at recess for 5 minutes. Where'd my microphone go there to stick it? Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started again. And I believe we had another respondent that has arrived, item number 13 on page 7. So we'll go ahead and start with that one, and then I think we have maybe 2 after that we'll knock out. But this one is case number 24-23, CEB Robert Blanc, 140 Morning Glory Drive, Lake Mary, 32746. In this case, it's Ms. Officer Tammy Lonis' case, and whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon. Code Enforcement Officer Joanne Tammy Lunas, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, North Region. I'm submitting a copy of this PowerPoint as a presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. It's case number 2423 CEB. The respondent is Robert Blanc at 140 Morning Glory Drive. The violation charge is Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3B, which is uncultivated vegetation in excess of 8 inches in height. My initial inspection on the property was September 26, 2023, with notice to the respondent on 9/29/2023, and again on 10/24/23. Compliance dates of 10/17/23 and 11/11/23. Numerous inspections from 10/19/2023 through and including 3/26/24. The vegetation violation remains on the subject property. And you'll see on 9/26/2023 the overgrown vegetation in the front yard. And again on 10/19/2023. On 11/13/2023, it has still not been mowed. And this is a time of year when it's actually pretty much stopped growing. Sorry. Okay, on 3/26/24, I just wanted to show you this board that I made. So the measuring board is created to provide contrast for the viewing of the height of the uncultivated vegetation. Makes it a lot easier to see. So as you can see, I measured this board out and placed the blue tape on there. The top line is 16 inches from the ground level and 8 inches from the ground level on the bottom blue line. And when we hold that up on 3/26, you can see it is well over the 16 inches in height. So the top of the board is actually 20 inches, so it's almost 20 inches. And another photo on 3/26 on the other side of the front door as well. And that is also over 16 inches in height. Just a little panning on the front yard. Didn't go out there and measure. There was actually areas which were much higher than the ones you just saw on the board, but we did not take any more photos of that. So this has not been mowed since my first visit in September. And I have spoken to Mr. Blanc in the past, possibly during COVID, and I believe a different officer might have spoke to him after that. He had, in the past, had lost his job, and I thought that had been rectified at this point, and that has, but he explained to me that he still has financial difficulty, and his lawnmower is not working, and he's having a problem getting that fixed. I have offered a place where he might be able to get some help, and we're going to talk about that more after this hearing. But based on the evidence presented in case number 2423 CEB, it is determined that the respondent, Robert Blanc, is the owner of record of the property located at 140 Morning Glory Drive, located in Seminole County as determined by the property appraiser's records, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4 as defined in 95.3B. And further recommendation that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order
for the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of April 18, 2024, to remove the uncultivated vegetation in excess of 8 inches in height. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. And the respondent must contact me to arrange for an inspection of the property to verify compliance. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions, Ross or Tamulonis?
Did I understand you correctly that you're going to work with him? You have an idea?
Yes, I have a couple of ideas of who he might be able to reach out to.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, Mr. Blunt, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you were sworn in?
Yes, I was here at the beginning.
Good, okay, I don't remember seeing it, thank you. It's your opportunity to speak to this matter. Do you have anything to say? You see the recommendation, I believe that's by April 18th, my eyes are serving me right, or $50 a day fine is the recommended compliance date. Is this something?
Since I have not really contacted these people, I don't know as to what their schedule is going to be or whether or not I can. I'm also dealing with some health issues that they're making it hard for me to address stuff like weeding and stuff like that. At this point, my right knee is swollen. It's making it hard for me to get up and down, so I can't just deal with this personally. No motorized tools function in terms for making landscaping possible at this point.
I understand. What this board's going to do here today is make a decision. You've been sitting here, so you've seen a lot of what goes on as far as how to move forward, and it will normally have a compliance date and then fines. It's normally what happens here. And normally the respondent, if they need a little more time, if they have a certain request or something they want to share, that's what happens. So sort of the floor is yours at this point. That's what we're looking at. That's probably what we're leaning towards at this point, unless you've got a request or...
I think I'm said all that I can say on this matter at this point.
Is that front yard photo, there wasn't a whole lot there, it was certainly, but it was, is there stuff in the back, on the side, or did
I have not seen the backyard, but according to his statements to me before this and now that it doesn't seem that he's being able to mow the back either.
Right.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make the motion that staff work with him on this recommendation that she has, and let's table this to the April meeting and see what shape it's in then.
I'll second.
Oh, good.
Okay, any other discussion? Motion to table this until our April meeting. Let me find the date. Unless somebody has on top of it.
April
25th, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, until our April 25th meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, so motion carries. So we've tabled this. You'll have an opportunity to come back. It gives you some time, and staff, Officer Tamulonis might be able to have something to offer. She's certainly not going to go mow the lawn for you, but maybe she's got some ideas. Certainly thank you for coming in. And we're going to move on. I believe we have 2 more cases left. That one.
5, 6, 7.
Okay. Yeah, on page 3, item 5, case number 24-18 CEB Oviedo McCulloch LLC, 1640 East McCulloch Road, Oviedo, Florida 32765. There is no respondent. So, Officer Hill, whenever you're ready.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement, East Region. I'm submitting a copy of the PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2418 CEB Oviedo McCulloch LLC, located at 1640 East McCulloch Road in Oviedo, Florida. Violation charge is Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3A, rubbish. My initial inspection was on September 11, 2023, with notices to respondent on October 12th and November 10th, 2023. Compliance dates were November 5th, 2023 and December 15th, 2023, with multiple follow-up inspections, including yesterday was my latest, and the violation of rubbish still remains on the subject property. These photos were taken on my initial inspection on September 11, 2023. The rubbish is the debris from the trees that have fallen onto the property. This photo was taken on September 11, 2023. These photos were taken on October 3rd, 2023. These photos were taken on November 8th, 2023. These photos were taken on December 18th, 2023. This photo was taken on December 18th, 2023. This photo was taken on March 25th, 2024. See, on the left side, they have removed the tree debris, and then they had mowed because for the tree debris, and they were not mowing around. They were just mowing around and keep on going. And then the tree debris in the parking lot there as well. These photos were taken on the same date. And I went by again this morning too, and the violation still remains. So based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2418, CEB is determined that the respondent, Oviedo McCullough LLC, is the owner of record located at 1640 East McCullough Road, located in Seminole County, as determined by property appraiser's records, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3A. It is further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of April 12, 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove all the rubbish from the subject property. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $100 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. So just a little background, this is a Chevron gas station. The Chevron owner does not own the property. They lease the property from Oviedo McCullough LLC out of New Jersey. I have made contact with the store manager and her supervisor back in September of my initial inspection. We walked the property. I showed them what needed to be done to come into compliance, even though they are technically not responsible to maintain the property. Oviedo McCullough LLC, as I have not heard from anybody from New Jersey. They did sign the certified green cards for the notice of hearing, and then yesterday when I went in, they took photos of the notice of hearing as well. So everybody's fully aware of what's going on. This store manager did tell me that there was somebody out there this week to look at the violations, but she said nothing was taken care of. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you for that additional information. Any questions for
Yeah,
us?
so the people in New Jersey did find out about this?
Yes, they were served for the notice of hearing.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Officer Hill? The property is not in compliance. Recommendation is to come in compliance by April 12th for $100 per day fine. So it's on the table.
I'd like to move that we accept staff's recommendation.
Motion by Mr. Simon, second by Ms. Townsend to set staff's recommendation as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And motion carries. Next case is item number 6 on page 3, case number 24-19 CEB. Same respondent, Oviedo McCullough LLC, 1640 East McCullough Road, Oviedo, Florida, 32765. Officer Hill.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement, East Region. I'm submitting a copy of this PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2419 CEB, Oviedo McCullough LLC, located at 1640 East McCullough Road in Oviedo, Florida. Violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3B, uncultivated vegetation. My initial inspection was on September 11, 2023, with notice to respondent on October 12th and November 10th, 2023, with compliance dates of November 5th and December 15th of 2023, with multiple follow-up inspections, including yesterday and this morning. The results of the violation still remains on the property. These photos were taken on my initial inspection on September 11, 2023. These photos were taken on the same date. These photos were taken on October 3rd, 2023. These photos were taken on October 3rd, 2023. These photos were taken on November 8th, 2023. These photos were taken on November 8th, 2023. These photos were taken on December 18th, 2023. These photos were taken on March 25th, 2023. So we're only maintaining part of the area you see on the left that's maintained, and that because this is a corner lot as well on McCullough and Lockwood Boulevard. So the portion of the property that faces Lockwood Boulevard is being maintained, but the portion that's facing McCullough Road is not. And these photos were taken on March 25th, 2023. Excuse me, it should have been 2024. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2419 CEB, it is determined that the respondent, Oviedo McCullough LLC, is the owner of record located at 1640 East McCullough Road, located in Seminole County, is determined by property appraiser's records, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3B. It is further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order to correct the violation on or before midnight of April 12, 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove all the uncultivated vegetation more than 8 inches in height from the subject property. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $100 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Hill? Seeing none, the recommendation we have on the table is find that there is a violation, the compliance date April 12th, or a $100 a day fine.
I move that we accept staff's recommendation.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Simon, second by Mr. Davis to accept staff's recommendation as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And that, I believe, concludes the cases. There's one case, this is case not heard. I guess that may come up at another time, I'm not sure. But it's certainly not going to be heard today. We have approval of the minutes from February 22nd, 2024. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by, was that Mr. Simon?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Simon, second by
I'll second.
Mrs. Townsend. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next meeting is April 25th, 2024. If you can't make it, please let the clerk know. Oh, bring them back to workshop. We're going to have a workshop that day at 11:30. So is it going to be in this room or one of the rooms, or do we not know?
Sir, we reserved another room here in the building,
Okay.
and we'll direct you to it once we
I'm sure there'll be an email that'll
Yes.
go to everybody. And then, so we have the election of the chair and vice chair that we can do. We are missing Mr. Ross. Mr. Peterson may not show, Mr. Bates. So we can move and handle that now, or we can do it next meeting. It's up to the pleasure of the board.
I'd like to do it next meeting when there's more
Yeah,
members here.
I would agree.
Makes
I would love it.
I'm good with that.
Okay, so we'll make table it until the next meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's what we'll do. And then motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Townsend, second by Mr. Simon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Daughter may get
Thanks
picked
for
up
letting me
after
sit
all.
in, y'all.
Thanks, good seeing you again.
Nice to see everybody, absolutely.